in this video we're going to talk about inversions. So basically before we talked about the difference between major and minor intervals. So just to review, let's say that we want an E major chord. We start on E and then we build our snowman, making sure that they're all on lines. And then we look at the key, and so in the key of E we have 4 sharps, so that's F, C, G, and D. So this G needs to be sharped in order for it to be major. Also, just to check, between here and here we need 4 half steps. So let's make sure that we have 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. We do, so therefore this is an E major chord. So there are things called inversions where the chord gets rearranged, and this is so that music can be more interesting. It's not just block chords. And so when this happens, this means that the notes get rearranged in order. This is when knowing what the name of the different notes is important. So typically the root, which is the name of the chord, is on the bottom, but sometimes the root can be moved around. So for example, let's take this E major chord, and let's say that we wanted to move this root above. So now we're starting on G sharp, then we have a B, and then our E is up the octave. Now E is no longer on the bottom, but E is still the root because this is still an E major chord. All I did was move the E up an octave to make it a little more interesting. So this is what they call first inversion, because we moved the root up. They also have another inversion called second inversion. And this is where the 5th is on the bottom. So you start with the 5th now, which is B, then we have E, and then we have our G sharp. Now here, when the root is on the bottom, this is called root position. So now we have root position where the root is on the bottom, first inversion where the 3rd is on the bottom, and second inversion where the 5th is on the bottom. This is very important to know for your homeworks and your tests. So let's just do an example. Let's say on your homework I ask for a B major chord in first inversion. And we're going to do it in bass clef, just to get some more practice. So we know that it's a B major chord, so the root is going to be B. So let's make it in root position first. Since we start on B, we fill in the other lines, building our snowman, and then we figure out in the key what the accidentals would be. So in the key of B, we have 5 sharps, which would be F, C, G, D, and A. So looking here, we have to see which ones need the sharp accidentals. D is in our key signatures, so we have to sharp D, and F is in our key signature, so we have to sharp F. That's because we need a major triad. So now that it's in root position, we need to put it in first inversion. So all we have to do is make sure that the 3rd is on the bottom. So we're going to start with the 3rd, and then we're going to put this up an octave to the other B. An octave just means that it's an 8th, so if you have trouble figuring out where the other B would be up above, you can just count 8 up above, counting this note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is where your other B would be. Now let's do a minor example just to show the difference. So let's say in treble clef, I want to build a C minor chord, but I want it in second inversion. So first what we want to do is put it in root position. So we start on C, then we have E and G. Now we have to think about C minor. So let's go to our keyboard and see what the major of C minor would be. So this time we're going up 3 half steps. So 1, 2, 3. We get to E flat. So now what we need to do is figure out what the key signature would be for E flat, which would be B, E, and A. So we know that B, E, and A need to be flatted. The only one that applies here is E flat. So now it's in the minor. It's a minor chord. And we can check by looking at these intervals. So between the root and the third, there are 3 half steps, which means that it is minor. Now we need to put it in second inversion. So first what we're going to do is flip the C up an octave. And we need to go another step further because we want the 5th on the bottom. And I know it's on a lot of ledger lines, but that way you can practice seeing what things look like on ledger lines. So now this is in second inversion. An easy hint to help you with figuring out first and second inversion is looking at the pattern of what the chord looks like. So if you see over here where I've made the root, they're all stacked on top of each other. Here, the two that are stacked on top of each other are at the bottom for first inversion. So you see a third here. And for second inversion, the third is at the top. So that's an easy way if you're going through and I say, is this root position, first inversion, or second inversion? You just look to see where the thirds are. If the third is on the bottom, it's first inversion. If the third is on the top, it's second inversion.